Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Halcyon Show. How are you doing today? I am but the student, a humble observer, because we welcome a gentleman who is being heralded as a battle rap media member, but also becoming a definitive battle rap media member, but someone whose fandom I think is going to challenge mine in ways that are going to make for an interesting conversation, because I came armed with questions, although I feel like this is going to turn into more of a conversation than an interview. But let's see. We've got a gentleman here who started his YouTube channel back in 2017, but first uploaded around 2 years ago. 54 videos to date, stuck mainly to opinion-based videos that follow the current news and events of UK battle rap and battle rap beyond, with the occasional comedy, satirical, instructional video, and does predictions and recaps, and has also appeared on other channels such as Battle Rap Resume. There it is. I reneged on my Tom Quebe namesake for a second there. Ladies and gentlemen, Cammy is here. How are you, sir?
You know, it's crazy. I didn't even know that. I didn't even think I started the channel. I must have just made a YouTube account in 2017. I'm over here going, is that? Because it got YouTube Premium, and I had to have an account for that because the Bodied movie was out on YouTube Premium. So we were like, oh, we'll buy it as a pay £12, and all of a sudden I've had the same subscription for about 6 years. That weird, is mental. See, already that's more in sleuthing that I was actually ever expecting. I am good, my man. Lon, how are you?
I'm fresh off of a run, so I hurt, as we discussed off camera. I'm also fresh off of interviewing Lunar C, which is mental, and reviewing with P Soldier his upcoming album, which is mental. So I am fabulous. You're going to have some stuff to talk about, I'm sure, in the coming days and weeks. But the first question I had for you, because I want to make use of the fact that you have some very verbose opinions about the scene. And I guess because we're in a weird period right now where everyone's kind of building to stuff at the moment. There's nothing really on the horizon in the next week or so. It's but until Checkpoint 5. How do you feel 2024 has gone so far for battle rap?
So I would tell you that 2024, I think this year is the year of opportunities. So in 2022, like I specifically called this battle Tony D versus Bizzle. You might have seen it. I'm sure you have for Bizzle. Like that event right there, plug one, changed the dynamic of UK battle rap as a whole. Where you go back on events there before, like Bizzle versus Koji, it was an absolute card, and you know before like battles before that where the energy wasn't quite right. As soon as that battle happens, then we end up at Apex, then we end up at Plug 2, then we end up in all these great events back to back the whole season with great battles, Koji, Gemini, and like 2020 year was the start. 2023 was the renaissance. This year, right now, for the amount of internationals that we were just bringing over, this is the year of opportunity. Battle rappers need to be involved now because they could get a big opportunity by the end of this year, starting next year, because everyone's wanting to come over now. Whether they make it, cancel, this is the year that people need to make something of themselves. If they don't do it this year, are they going to manage it next year? Because you've got all these names already in here that are going to get the big shots. Next year will be the rookies' year, I think.
How do you feel about the respective... So the two cards that stand out to me are the two ones that I'm hoping to go to. So Checkpoint 5, the big return of Lunar C, obviously. And then you've got the title versus title at Apex 5. I think that's in August, right? So how do you feel about those? Because at the moment, they seem to be the pinnacles of the year. Whereas last year, you know, you had Plug 4 and 3, which I would argue, even with, you know, the Shotty match falling through, that was still a massive event, very successful. Absolutely. Plug 3 was very much the same. You had the 15th anniversary from Don't Flop as well. That could lay claim to having a tremendous amount of success. How do you feel about those two? Maybe not comparatively, but using that as sort of the trend.
So I mean, battle rap in itself, right? It's not a two-horse race anymore. But I see what you're saying, especially with these two leagues and having their events. From what I'm aware of, I know Plug 5 is going to be pretty nuts as well. Like we're not going to skip past that. That should be a big event, and even the birthday event this year. But these two in particular, it's so hard because I was saying this when I was speaking to someone else not long ago. And I don't know how deep you are into battle rap and how long you've been here. And like Did you ever watch events from a Don't Flop series called Blood in the Water?
With the exception of the obvious one, which is Uno Lavos versus Lunar C, I think I might have seen a couple. Well, it was Mark Grist versus Blizzard was on that card as well on the fifth one, right? So yeah, so a couple, but not extensively. No.
I think that like this checkpoint card, it's not the checkpoint standard, but it is Blood in the Water standard. So Blood in the Water was more of a jokey event. People had come over, some legends and whatnot, give some other guys opportunities. When we say checkpoint, we think of Clips and Tony D, we think of Shocks and Soul, we think of like Arsenal DNA. We think of these rather than having Madness and Lunar C or Left Day versus Pamphlet. That's more Blood in the Water. And I think if they announced it like that, I actually think it would be way more critically acclaimed, because in comparison to the two events, I mean, Apex on paper, Shocks versus visual, like Shocks' return. Shocks is one of the fucking best ever. If you haven't seen the Shocks battle, he's one of the best. Like, and even having the title, and then Bobby and Sensei, which has been long brewing for like 3-4 years. So like, unfortunately, we've only got 3 clashes on this card so far. There'll be more. It just, the weight of the cards, Apex just has a bit more weight to it. But that's also because Apex has been around for, like, they've been, like, Don't Flop unfortunately died, right, and it came back, right? I think this is the first checkpoint event since they've come back, where every year, or we've had an Apex, even through the pandemic, 2019, 2020, like, we've had consistent Apexes for a while that we know this is a staple. And Checkpoint needs to come back as a staple, because Don't Flop still has proving grounds to show that they're really back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. I would say though because again, this is where this is why this conversation is interesting for us, because we were talking about this off camera as well, that we kind of look at battle rap from different perspectives. Not so much in the fact that we both don't love battle rap. I'm a massive, and I'll go to bat for it. And,
I fucking hate battle rap.
Do you? Oh, well, there you go. That's probably why you know so much about it, because you hate it so much, like a true fan. You know,
a real fan.
You can't be a real fan unless deep down you want to see everything burn, unless it's everything you want it to be. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
the Crash battle. I'll send you a link to this battle. It's my favorite battle of all time, right? And it's a Scottish battle, right? And basically, what happens is this guy, it's guy Kamehameha versus Subconscious, and in the third round, because Kamehameha is winning 2-0, like clearly, and Rapid in a Park, he's like, oh, if I battle my Subconscious in a Freudian slip, I'm going to bring out my own mother. So he brings out his own mother. Poor woman, they're rapping in the park, she slips on the floor. They pick her up from the floor and throw her at the opponent and being like, oh, this is my mum. And then this guy turns his mother around to be on the opponent's side and does your mum jokes on his own mum, because he's battling the Subconscious in a Freudian world. It's the most ridiculous thing, but it's my favorite car crash ever. I need to send you the link of it. Maybe if you're watching battles with someone, that's one you need to watch, because it's the funniest thing ever.
You have a succession of car crashes that you're a fan of?
You know what? As a standalone sentence, not about battle rap, that's a crazy sentence. Yeah, I love a traffic jam. I do. But you know what? I think you have to have that fine balance. That sometimes you just got something that you laugh at. That's a guilty pleasure. You have the amazing battles, but
in fairness, like Shotty had that bit for a bit where he was reviewing stuff that was along that ilk, where it was like, yes, I can't believe this is happening. It's horrible. It's horrific. But let's watch it anyway, and let's try and react as best we can. And it wasn't just. It was battle rap, but there was other stuff. So you're not alone in like enjoying sort of the when the wheels fall off. Okay, like, well, let's see what happens.
I was at another event not long ago, and I was at the Membars event in April, which is an amazing event. And the first battle was an on-beat battle, right? And they're like shouting over the top of each other, and it's a disaster. And they're falling out. Like the beat's really loud, the mics are really loud. They're right, and then the second round, this guy brings out, he's giving people envelopes. Everybody get your envelopes and show us what you've got. And on the inside the envelope is a picture of the opponent on a TikTok live wearing Spider-Man underwear. And he's like, the angle is like this. So it's package, chest, face on TikTok Live. And we just have to accept the battle got shut down completely. And then they tried to bring on the next battle. And then they went, no, wait a minute, they're going to do the battle, get these guys off the stage. And they brought the first battle back. It was so epic. It was so epic.
Why do you think battle rap isn't more mainstream? I think we need to explore that maybe in a little bit. Well, no, I tell you what. No, that's okay. Lunar C made this point in the interview, and I'm torn. I'll be honest. I kind of see his point. I kind of disagree with it. He was saying that he doesn't like the idea of battle rap becoming less niche. He doesn't like the idea of it being adapted and presented in a mainstream, because that's how you end up with something that's sort of bastardized as Wild and Out, which I kind of see the sense in, because when you mainstream something, you're going to have to take, invariably, you're going to have to take some of the essence of it out. But at the same time, I do feel like there's a lot of potential on the table for battle rap that isn't always fully utilized, especially when you look at the guys who comprise the rosters of each promotion. So the question I have for you is, how do you feel about that balance between giving the guys success, like, you know, the bigger the platforms and the bigger the promotions, the more success they have, the more money they can make, the more, you know, the better lives they can lead, versus preserving what people love about battle rap?
Now, to reference wrestling again, that's almost like, you know, when Paul Heyman had that argument with Vince McMahon, the big promo, was that 2005? One of the big promos about taking over everything, and like wrestling became a dirty word.
Yeah, you made wrestling a dirty word, Vince. Yeah, everyone remembers that promo.
If you have like the main, like, let's say Don't Flop goes on STV every Saturday, I think they would turn rap into a dirty word. I think it would be in a similar way where battle rap is right now the closest form to a Shakespearean art form in modern day culture, and bar none. I can't think, like, whether you have your slam poetry, you know, you have your storytelling, you have your even audio books and stuff. There's nothing that uses every single tool in the English literacy language the same way that battle rap does. So when you take a conglomerate, a business, and put money through into it, you naturally dilute the freedom of battle rap, because battle rap is, you can insult someone in any way, shape, or form. There's freedom in the ring, but there's accountability outside of the ring. So if you're willing to say what you're wanting to say in the ring, you have to hold that afterwards, which is kind of a fair balance of how far people can go. But you could say something that you are comfortable in saying outside, and you think no one's going to worry about it, and it's just the wrong thing at the wrong time. Maybe you'll have like a blow up something bar, but then there's a terrorist thing that just happened not too long ago, and they have to take it out or something. You know, you could have anything. But battle rap, when you dilute the format into a company, you then portray their message. And if battle rap doesn't have that level of freedom, then it's not the genuine thing, like Lunar is trying to say, that battle rap, what people fall in love with. We love the authenticity of a lot of these guys. Everything about like URL and whatnot is who's the realist, who's got the conviction, who's telling you this. In the UK, who's the funniest guy, who's got the jokes, who's got the angles, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Like, we look for the honesty in battle rap, and if you start, it'll be fun. It would be fun. I will say that if you have this every Saturday night, having like, battle rap on, 2 battles on, and then it's Ant and Dex Saturday Night Takeaway. Brilliant, but you're only going to get so much out of that rather than the true authentic experience. Then you could get a Lunar and Shotty on live TV. You're not going to get what they'll say on YouTube.
Because I agree with you in the sense that, I mean, look, we've both been there. Maybe you've been, you know, at work, at a pub, whatever, right? And the conversation turns and they go, sorry, what are you talking about? And you go, battle rap. And they go, oh, you mean that thing in 8 Mile?
Yeah.
And you die a little inside because you go, kind of, but
yes,
not really. Because here's the thing. Whenever you've seen it attempted to be mainstreamed, I don't know about you, dude. Again, I'm not a hardcore battle rap fan in the sense that I know every battle. You know, I'm even conscious of a lot of the composition, but I can appreciate great cinema when I see it. But when you see it mainstreamed, it becomes this parody almost of itself. And even when no, we're going to illustrate it by letting them say some real shit. It's like, yeah, but you know it's fake. You know it's in a movie now, so. And there's something that's, or in a series, or even on a live stage, it's been reeled in. I guess the question becomes like, is there? Because I get that they've tried, but is there even a way of mainstreaming battle rap to keep that? I don't know if there is, because I think, like you've said, there's something about being in a room in a moment where someone says, even if they do cross a line, there's something still self-contained in that, because it's like, dude, it's battle rap. You walked in knowing this could happen, versus sort of a casual viewer that's not really prepared to hear, and I did my research. And it's like, oh no, he went deep on the research. This isn't going to end well.
So,
like,
it's the same angle of like, when you go to like a comedy club, a lot of times you hand your phone in. You know, you hand your phone in a comedy club because you're there to enjoy the experience. If I bring a whole camera crew in here and everything, then it kind of changes the experience. I do like seeing on TikTok and shit when they go, oh, I'm picking someone in the crowd, but there's that little thought, because of what media has done in real life, going, is this genuine? Is this actually, or was this staged? Because there's a lot of reality TV shows and stuff. And you know the one person right now that I could think of that actually has done not a bad job is Hitman Holla. So he did this thing with Bags and Bodies, and it was sorry, I'm putting 12 to 20 battle rappers in this building, Big Brother style, and there's going to be challenges every week, like on a show. I think it was done over the course of 10 days, but when it was like someone won £50,000, there was like many challenges and whatnot. They had to grab someone 2-on-2s, do a round, and like, but they kept it within a smaller network, because Hitman Holla was the biggest name on the network. So he had what appears to be full control. And I think that's probably the closest that we've got to it so far. Unless you give someone complete honesty and control and say they could say whatever they want uncensored, we'll never get it, because it just takes one idiot like me to jump in a battle and ruin a battle. Then all of a sudden it's off. Oh, you get the screen out of, off the air or whatever, and it changes forever. Like we went through, I remember battle rap at one point was successful on YouTube. It was very successful, and leagues were getting money, actual money, thousands of pounds for a battle that hit 1 million views. But when, I don't know if it was like the right-wing Republican thing, or it was some sort of that YouTube went against and decided to change all their algorithm, and battle rap was fucked for it, but we still kept it genuine, because at that point we could have went, oh well, we'll soften it up. You can't say that. Even, and it's not against Don't Flop. Don't Flop tried that. I was at a Dundee event, and a lot of their battles have been censored. So like they say it and then it cuts off.
So you know how I know that that's true? They did the 10th anniversary of the Bad Bars from Marlowe and Shuffle. It breaks your fucking heart to hear them mute the swear words, man. There's something. I get why you did it, guys. The struggle is real, and making money on YouTube's a bitch. But for fuck's sake, you cannot censor a rap. You can't do it. You can't do it. Sorry, I'm making a rule.
And if we start doing that, the product is changed. Like, have you ever see it with the Kendrick and the Drake shit? Have you ever heard "Not Like Us" on the radio?
No.
It's the most horrendous thing ever. Everything that was good about it is gone, and it's just that's it. Because Kendrick does funny voices in a crazy ass beat, and it's just every punchline doesn't land on the radio. Because you just lost the genuine feel of it. Like, I'm not saying that every battle rapper has to swear all the time, and if Don't Flop wants to say you can be part of our league, you just can't swear, fair. But if you're looking for the authenticity of it, the power's got to go to the battle rappers, and the leagues have got to be a platform for it, rather than the leagues control the content and then send that across to the battle rappers. It's meant to be the opposite way around.
It's how you end up with WWE saying no more super kicks, guys. It's a bit weird when it happens, but that's every company struggling to compete in an era where every content is competing with every other piece of content. You and I technically are rivals on YouTube because we're on separate channels competing for everyone's attention, which is weird. Except for when you realise that that's just the way it is. But I tell you what, rather than indulging the competitive element, I'm not as good, by the way. You should go subscribe to him. But
I don't know about that. Don't, like, if you want to subscribe to me, fine. But like, he's the man. He
self-deprecating. He's trying to make himself look better now. I take it back. I don't play that shit. Nah. I gotta lean into my my demeanor as the bad boy of battle rap. But anyways, let me ask you a slightly different question. This one might take some pondering, but I want you to kind of give me because without the obvious names, really, because I think everyone kind of knows. Who would you say are the big players in the current scene? I think obviously there's a lot of talk of respective eras, the big players in their eras, the biggest names. But I guess at the moment, the biggest problem is some of the names of the past do make reappearances, but they're very sporadic and they're fleeting. And I've always been of the opinion you need to work with what you've got. You need to look at the guys that are performing regularly, who have potential, who have star power. You need to start cultivating, motivating them, and giving them an opportunity to really become their... to have their own moments, really. Who do you see as the biggest players of this era in battle rap?
Is this big players in world battle rap or big players? Are we keeping this UK centered for now?
I think we'd probably keep it UK centered for now. But if you want to throw it, because again, like you said, there are people that are coming over. So potentially these are names that you think could come here and just be seismic. Right.
So big players in the UK scene. I mean, I'm sure. Right now, I think Shotty Horroh is probably #1 guy. Like in the top of battle rap right now, in battle rap, Shotty Horroh, he just seems to have the money to do what he wants in battle rap, and does the wrestling, does all these. He is clearly one of the top guys, like in that pyramid. But when you're coming like down in power struggles and whatnot, it's really difficult to say who big players are because Rowan and Briggsy they still manage to control their situation. But I think, like, as you say, like, some people, you need to work with what you have. But when someone like a Shotty Horroh comes back into battle rap, a Lunar C comes back into battle rap, whenever a Kruger decides to come back, because Kruger's flirting with that idea as well, like, when these guys come back, you'll never say no to them because it's the only thing that it would be for your channel is beneficial. You can work with who you have, but you are working with the channel. When the channel works, then it works for the new guys because it's just the way that subscribing works, that more of the other stuff will come up on your feed. But in regards to big players, I think you have Shotty Horroh, and realistically, he's probably the one big player. Everyone else kind of... Battle rap is healthier when the house wins. Kind of gambler mentality that... No one in the US is above Smack White. There's not a single person. Even for Organic and King of the Dot, there's no one that's really that much bigger unless you're Cannabis or Cassidy than Organic in the league because they all have to operate with the league owners. You have battlers bigger than the league. You have a Conor McGregor situation that takes 2 and a bit years before you're even booked. And same with Shotty Horroh, 2 and a bit years before you actively come back. So I think big players is difficult to say because everyone's relatively tamed apart from Shotty.
Would you to stay on Shotty for a second, because I so very rarely get to discuss him, and obviously I did my research for the interview that's probably never going to happen, but one of the things that came up was his selectiveness and the fact that at certain pivotal moments in his career his plans fell through. And I'm just curious as to like what you think that has done to his decision, because I'm of the opinion that it's not like there's not good choices out there, that there's not good matchups out there, but I think that that's made him he scrutinizes his opportunities very, very closely now, which has its pros and cons. Do you agree? Well, number one, do you agree with that assessment? And number two, do you think that's a good thing considering, like you've just said, if putting him on a card means more guys get more exposure, then is that not something he has the ability to influence things in a more direct way than almost anyone else in the scene at the moment?
Okay, so I would say that the assessment is pretty much right. That Shotty Horror's kind of list of people that have been, he's been very scrutinous of it because of how often he's been ducked. Like his resume of people that have ducked him, whether it's Averb, Young Ill, I remember Quantum Physics one, Tay-Rock, Loaded Lux. That was one that was under. That's one that's never really been said, but Loaded Lux was very much in the conversation to come to the UK. Like and Twerk, like there's so like the people that have been ducked by Shotty Horror. Of course, he's going to be a bit like, I need to know this is specifically happening, but it also has to be worth something to Shotty Horror. The problem with if he goes for a Gemini, views wise, Shotty Horror brings the views. You know, goes against Quill, Shotty Horror brings the views. Like someone has to bring something to the table. And the competitive side, the skill wise, the UK fan base, we bring something to the table and elevate a Gemini, we elevate a Quill, we elevate these guys. But like Shotty Horror needs to have something given back to him. There was talks of him and Rumnitty. There's been talks of many battles that he's gone through that have either never been public or never actively been followed through. But Shotty for us, he is the leading head of battle rap. He's our representative. What needs to happen, in my opinion, for Shotty Horror is he needs to go to RBE. He needs to go international. I think he can do that, and like he used to. He needs to go over there and take on like a big name over there. Because he does have the clout in the US, and the clout in the US is the distinct difference between himself and everyone else in the culture. Lunar C is a great example. The Marv 1 battle didn't go exactly how he thought it was going to go, you know, and that's Lunar C. That's our guy. It did not go how he was wanting it to go. Like Pedro got more love than Lunar C in LA, but if Shotty Horror goes there, Shotty Horror, he would. If Disaster asked Shotty Horror who he'd want to battle, he would basically pick anyone, and I think anyone would agree. Easy the Block Captain, Big T, Reed Dollars, anyone would take a Shotty Horror battle because they're aware of how powerful he is, and that's that's why I say he's the big player, because not only do we as a culture see him as our representative, but also we know that his skill level he will never fail us, which is why we wait so long for a Shotty Horror battle, and he leaves us kind of in this kind of wanting more always because he just doesn't battle enough.
Which so I see the merits in that argument, because you've seen that with Reigns just now with WWE, and Lesnar before him. But it's the problem now that WWE have, which is great. You've got a roster of guys that he beat along the way, and no one cares about any of them. And
Right.
when you have that kind of stroke, it means that now you're in the Roman Reigns business. And in the same way, you're in the Shotty Horror business. Now, I'm not saying that he is, he has to lay down for anybody, and I'm not saying he has to be on every weekend's battle card, he has to be battling on the street corners or anything like that, but is he kind of priced himself out of the range of where UK battle rap is in terms of opponents on a card that you could build? Because, look, my fandom of battlers has largely grown from, I like Shuffle T, so I'll see who he battles, and then the guys of he battles, actually I quite like some of these guys, and then you follow their battles, and it's a trickle-down effect almost, you know what I mean? When you don't have that initial introduction from someone like a Shotty or a Lunar or a Shuffle or a Soul or a Bizzo or a Gemini, where does it start? Where do you ignite new fans' interest, or you regain lapsed fans? If not, because I'm not saying it's the only way. If there's another way, then I don't see how you would go about it through that when you've got someone like a Shotty who, look, let's be honest, he probably wins most battles on merit alone. Not his name almost doesn't carry. His performance style, his ferocity, his tenacity, his skill wins most battles on its own, and then you take into account, fuck, that's Shotty Horror. I just wonder. So I mean, I've said a lot there. I said a lot. Unpack that for me. Let me know where I'm maybe missing a thread.
So I maybe a little bit on the Roman Reigns comparison. So with Shotty, like Shotty actually hasn't battled. Like if you say like Shuffle T, he's just battled Shuffle T. That was his last battle. You go before that, it's been John the Don.
Which was pre-pandemic, so that's going back another 2-3 years before that.
Exactly. So, and you're like, to say that Shotty Horroh's beat everyone, therefore the league is below one. He's not even faced them. He's not faced the Bobby Rex. He's not faced the Gemini. He's not faced the Quill. He's not faced the Visual. He's not faced anyone that's actually in that Premier Battles roster other than Shuffle T, and he's not really in the roster. He's a freelancer. So when someone does battle Shotty Horroh, it's kind of like they're lifted to that level. And I know they're trying to build up with Gemini right now, because that's been in talk for so long, because Gemini was pretty much undefeated, but they still have to be lifted to that pedestal, because right now Shotty does, other than maybe Bizzo as champion, Shotty Horroh stands on that throne, kind of waiting for someone to approach him. And
Sure. And as far as look, I don't think you have anyone right now that can, but I guess what I'm saying is, my first experience at the Plug 3, there were at least 5 guys who I had no idea about. I'm sorry, I've just never heard of you. I went there for Shotty versus Shuffle because I'm a massive Shuffle T fan, and I can't miss the opportunity to see Shotty battle live.
No.
As a result of that, I now am fans of at least 5 of the guys on that roster. That card helped those guys on the card more than it did Shuffle. Shuffle T. He's successful on his own. And I guess what I'm saying is, in this era where guys are struggling to build cards around guys that are battling more frequently, like, I don't know where the rebuild, and now we're into this next phase. Like, how do we now kick on? How do we now utilize the star power that's not mine, but at the scene's disposal, to be able to showcase a Ghast buff, a reverse, RX Southside, thinking of others, you can rattle off probably 10 names as well. Like, these guys are properly talented, but they just still haven't had that audience interaction that really makes them feel confident about buying a ticket, about buying a pay-per-view just to see that person yet. You
know how you do that in the modern day? You do the Anderson Burris method, and you just TikTok this shit out of it. You post that media by yourself. You have a channel, you send it out, whatever dual screen that you do, when it's the low angle and the face angle, and you quote the bars in the middle, you promote it yourself. Like you see, like with Lunar C, like he has no control of the amount of millions of views he has on TikTok, because he has millions of views and he does not have a TikTok channel, because people are just taking his battles.
I'm sorry to stop you mid-flow. He does, he just doesn't use it. Quote from him, not from me. So I should probably say to him, you can subscribe to Lunar, and he is uploading. He uploaded his battle with a hat on a hat stand the other day. But you're right. I agree with you on that point. Sorry to stop you mid-flow, but I think you're very right there. Yeah.
So it's like you need, like, if Shotty Horroh, when he was first battling, had the same ways of streaming his own battles, he'd be doing the same thing. They all would be doing the same thing. It's difficult now because there's so much on the internet, so much that everything can be covered up by something else. And now, like, you've seen, even in, I'm referencing the Drake and Kendrick shit again, people were holding off releasing their albums because of this beef, because this was the thing. So if you need to become the thing by posting your stuff yourself, or having, because I know Premier Battles is like, here, I need you to post this stuff. I need you to send the battle out. I need you to do this, and just try and get the algorithm going, because that's going to be the new way. Why, like TikTok shop? I don't know. You get that and get a free mug, but there's different ways of doing it. But growing the scene the same way that they did, like the cards still matter, and we'll go like having the top down effect. That's like boxing cards 101, where it's the big main event and all these guys underneath, and 10% will become fan of the other guys and whatnot. And that's the old school way of doing it. We're in a modern era where 60 seconds is all you need, and then just an audio clip for someone else to dance to or remix it on a producer thing. You just need to get yourself out there and show, this is what I do. Do you like this? Link underneath. Here's all my clips. Here's all my battles. Here's my music. Digital personas, and I hate to say it, the most successful battle rappers are those that will become influencers. There will be. They'll be the most successful. They'll be the guys who they'll bring the people with them. They'll recap how their battles went. They'll talk about topics happening in the world. Easy the Block Captain is the best example of that right now. Him and Anderson Burris, where they are talking about relative topics in battle rap, throwing their 2 cents in for their fans. And between Shotty, Lunar, Tony D, maybe, in a select few, there's not many UK battle rappers that have specific fans. There's not, and again, because we mentioned Gas Buff, there's people who like Gas Buff's style who are a fan of him through battle rap. There's not people that are a fan of Gas Buff through Gas Buff into battle rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, the class, we were on about this before, before the recording, the classic, the battle rapper and the person, you know, who are the fans of the battle rappers, who are the fans of the sport. And I'm happy for it that we don't have as many fans of the battle rappers because they can be very annoying, but they do also feed into who they like and who they go for. Nowadays, you're needing to try and find, for like regular powerful fans that go to events, you need to find people that are fans of the sport. And how do you get someone to enjoy a new sport? If battle rap is a sport, but that's a whole other thing. Like, how do you get someone new into something like this? Maybe you need to do a street battle. Maybe it just needs to be out in the open. Here, 30 people, make a circle, these two in the middle, and onlookers walk by and someone has a flyer. End of the month, these two have got a 2-on-2 versus Eddie P and Frisco. They're whatever, you know, like, they're going to have to get themselves out there. But again, I feel like I'm going through so many topics for you, Lauren. UK speech laws is not the US speech laws. So we could say something out of line and we'll be in trouble for it. It's not the same. Like, there's freedom of expression, but that's not under the freedom of speech. There's still things that you can't do under freedom of expression. And maybe you do something like this or in new inventive ways, and then the UK government goes, nah, I'm going to cut you off right there because you can't be doing that. It needs to be a more controlled space. It's so difficult to push battle rap forward, and until we have the speaker's corner in battle rap, we just have to go the digital way until further notice.
Well, let me touch on something you mentioned there, because I incline to agree with you as far as the promotion element of things. I mean, I, like you, because we've got relatively small subscription bases, okay? So we have to work quite hard to get traction on the algorithm in order for it to get picked up.
I don't know what you're talking about there. A million view Cammy.
Hey, listen, man, I'm still working on that million views, and fuck me, it's coming along, but YouTube and your stupid ass algorithm aren't making it any easier for me, just because I don't want to do a 30-second TikTok of me twerking my ass to the latest pop sensation. Anyways, my point being,
hold on, you could do that and someone could video you out of the window there, and then they could cut back to this, and that would get a million views. I'm just saying.
I listen, man. There are trends I want to follow, and then there are trends I do not. And I'm an old man now, and I am grumpy beyond compare. And I'm happy yelling at the people out of my window rather than joining in on what they're doing. So, but the marketing thing or the promotional thing, because I think you're right. But then there's the question of what's a good way or a bad way of doing it. Who does it well? Who does it badly? Or what are good examples? Obviously, I have had some experience with one example of a marketing issue. I took issue with it. It was not received well by the scene. We'll touch about that another time. But like, as far as like, who are some of the guys, or who are some of the guys and girls who you think maybe should be doing it more because they've got more to show? I mean, obviously, Gas Buff's the great, you know, he's the promo king, and Bobby does a really great job, I think, of finding and showcasing himself from time to time. But who are some of the guys that you think, like, man, if you just worked a little harder on your promotion, I think you'd be a bigger deal?
I've got two names that come to my mind there. I think if you know Scoop, like him doing the Sky Arts poetry and touring with the dance group, I can't remember the name. If he just videoed that a bit more and spoke a little bit about on battles, if he just did a bit more battles afterwards, he he would be a big head for our culture. If like you, because we see him doing all these other things, and he returns every 3-4 months to do a battle, and how that works with your arts and poetry, and like he was on fucking Sky Sports about I can't remember, a Middlesbrough player. I'll come to it at some point. And just kind of giving a remembrance speech about him being like a black player and being in the Premier League and being different. It was beautiful. Like if he just then went, Scoop versus Bizzle Bond, match day 4. You know, like if he just did that at the end and been like, right, if you want to come, just real quick, real subtle. I think that could have brought a few more people in. And this other guy, and I've given him a shout out for this because he's annoyingly good. He's so annoyingly good, and I'm going to say this: fuck this guy because he just gets all these opportunities. Maverick, I just think everything that he does is fucking gold, and it's annoying. It's so annoying that like I'm saying this out of love because he's a good friend of mine, but like he left the scene for so many years, comes back versus Visual, gets Dunch. He battled Real Sick before Real Sick was anything popular. He bodies all these other guys, and he's just, if he just kept to battle rap, all these opportunities will roll out for him in battling in New York, Australia, all these other places that will easily happen for him because he's that fucking good. And he just, unfortunately, he'll battle a few times and bugger off for years. That I think there are two that I could say now, they stay in the culture will improve.
Speaking of the culture, you're a battle rap media member, I'm told. My 2 questions to that, two-parter is, A, do you concur with that assessment? Because as we were talking off camera, I don't know if I concur with that assessment about me, let alone anybody else. But if you are, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about being held up as sort of a representative, a journalist of sorts, someone who is supposed to be reflecting and kind of opining on the scene? Like, how do you feel about that?
So, you know what? I don't think I do as myself anything out of the ordinary. And like Trubs of Plug TV, you know, he actually runs events and he does these face-offs. Jane was streaming on Caffeine with Hennyman and whatnot on Battle Rap Plug, and you know they got, these guys really do this a lot. Yourself, you conduct our long interview pieces to bring up and ask questions. Hold myself to any standard you guys have. You Battle Rap Resume interviewed Sue Surf years ago. Like that's just an interview that he had. Swave Seva, all these people. And I look at all these guys around me, and I go, I'm not anything like them. But I think maybe because I literally sit and I talk battle rap, and that might be right, I might be wrong. I think because I stand on it and I can explain my piece, I've kind of become this battle rap media. Like I've listened. You've said to me, I've had a channel for 2 years. I have just done my first interview. Like I've just conducted an interview last night for the very first time because I'm trying to do different things here and there. It's not for me that ever really do these things. I do what I do and I don't think too much of it and talk. But I think that the standard that I'm being held upon as a media member, I have to remember that, because if I forget that and I do something thinking I'm not a media member when someone else thinks I am, then that becomes detrimental to me as a person. But, you know, I would let my ship sink and stand on it if I had to. But other people wouldn't want my ship to sink, so I have to think of them as well. So I guess I am UK or battle rap media in general, because I don't just talk about UK stuff. But it's that I just do what I do. But now I'm having to think, okay, how can I push things further? Who would people want me to talk to? What am I reacting to? And then I have to figure, this is just a phone. This is a phone, and I have a little light thing underneath, just so it makes me look handsome. That's it. My bed is over there, and this is just a cloth with a little...
No, I'm not letting him kill the gimmick. He's killing the gimmick here, right? I'm not letting it. As far as you guys know, I'm on the 5th floor of a skyscraper with a jacuzzi behind me. I'm not ever showing you the fucking back
Me,
of this room. I'm not
me and
letting him do this to himself. He's
Ali-
immolating himself. He's killing the gimmick. As far as no, fuck this. Behind him is a stripper pole with an assortment of the most beautiful women you have ever seen in your entire life, all dancing around, piles of money. He's burning for warmth. Okay, that's what's behind him. Okay.
You ever see Austin Powers and then Fat Bastard when he has like the women around him and that? That's me. Get in my belly.
Heinous self-immolation. I've got no idea why he's doing it to himself. I know why he's doing it. I know why he's doing it.
Modest.
I know why he's. Well, that's the thing, right? If we're just humble, we're but humble YouTubers, right?
Humble.
We can't be held to, listen, you might put that on me, but I'll tell you what, in my weird little...
What is that?
Well,
I don't know.
I will say, my little moment a few months ago, it did put me in mind of thinking, right, if we are, because I hold you in this, if we are held up to a certain standard or a degree by people that watch us for various reasons, the question does become like, all right, do I want to utilize it, and if so, what for? So the question becomes, even though, again, you maybe reject the notion of you being a, quote, media member, what do you want to do with your channel? What do you want to do with your insight and your fandom? Like, how do you see it kind of driving what you want to make, if not being more journalistic? Like, because obviously you do the you do your predictions, you do your recaps, you do a lot of stuff that kind of helps hype the scene up to a large degree and analyzes the scene, but like, maybe you just don't see it that way. In your mind, then, what do you want to use it to drive towards?
Well, you know what? Honestly, the channel was just a venting channel. It was just see how we're feeling, and then see, am I the only one thinking this? I can't be the only one thinking of this. Like, and it's kind of pushed me into this area now of like I'm just an angry boy shouting about things, but now I'm with these guys and that are like the media that are interviewing people, and I like even then I like throwing the little things. Oh, here's something to think about. Here's something possibly just you don't have to agree with it. Just think about it. It might happen. Something like this makes sense. And I have seen quite a lot where I've just said something, and then later down the line, and I joke about it, saying that I'm not right yet. I will be right, but I'm not right yet. But it's one of those things that I see, like, of battles that are then made where I've just stopped them 4 months ago and went, why are you two not battling? And then they end up, you know what, if it moves the scene in a way, I'm for it. Like, if maybe at some point I'll have the big piece de resistance of, this is what I've brought to battle rap, and that will be the moment that I just go, I've done what I've needed to do. It's because battle rap for me, and the reason why I felt I had to do that, is I've grown up on battle rap. So I've been a fan of the culture on for close to 15 years. 15, maybe 16 years. I'm 29, right? Early teenager, Professor Green. He just came out with that song, just be good to Green, all I need is a woman to be good to me.
The Lily Allen cross, yeah, I remember, yeah.
So, back then, that's like 2009, 2010, right? So I'm doing this whole deep dive into Professor Green because he did the jump off battles, the freestyle stuff. So falling into this trap, ended up at Grind Time, and then ended up at URL, and UK Battle Rap ended up being the last scene, ironically, to like talk about, like, to see. And going through this journey, I've always felt that as I matured as an adult, and that's why I think my perspective of battle rap is somewhat unique, battle rap matured as well. We went from dick jokes and shit that was fun. That was funny to me when I was 14, 15. That was the funniest thing over. All of a sudden, I'm 16, 17, and it's, oh, I actually want to be a tough guy. Let's get these gun bars and all this sort of stuff. 18, 19, I'm questioning everyone. Let's do angles. Why are they doing this? And then as I've gotten older now, I'm like, you know what? I'm battle rap is at its maturest state right now, whether it's UK, US, because they're all talking contracts. It's all money. It's all time spent. It's all, lawyers are involved, Remy and Easy. It's all adult shit. in battle rap, and as I've become an adult, I've also followed that into being an adult in life. So maybe that's the. I wonder if that comes across in videos to say, right, this is the battle rap perspective. This is why people maybe do connect on it, or they call me out on things, because they at least see that I maybe represent a part of battle rap that kind of grew with the culture. You know, it's difficult to say about even being about UKBR or media and whatnot, just because growing with the culture, being a part of it all, is that it being inside the battle rap culture, inside of growing older, my perspective doesn't change more than battle rap changes as I change. So we're like one of one, it feels. It may be that I'm a little wrong there at times, but I'm one it where we're just getting older and older, and we've just went up this way. And it's a very individual experience I have with battle rap, and it's kind of why, beyond everything else, little hobbies that I follow here and there, battle rap's the one thing that I stuck to for close to 15 years.
And that's I like, again, I mention this all the time, whenever there's someone battle rap related on my show, they always do the best segues, and that's a good segue, because one of the questions I had, and this is, so we're going to relate a little here, because in doing my series, and I'm sure in doing yours, you have these moments where you go, that's fucking Tony D, and he's talking to me, this is weird. And like, you have these, because again, I not as long as you, 2000 let me think, 2000 probably 16 is when I was first introduced to UK battle rap as we know it today, okay? And because of YouTube at the time, you could just monster through the back catalogue, okay? And having gone from that to now is properly surreal. My question to you is, as someone that's been following it for as long as you have, and now being able to go to events and being able to kind of, you know, govern your fandom as you see fit. You know, there's no bedtime, there's no school, there's no other things to say. You know, I just want to go. I'm gonna hop on a train. I'm gonna get in a car. I'm gonna go to an event. What have been some of your surreal moments? What have been your sort of your fandom highlights where you go like, man, I could die happy tomorrow because of this shit. This was fucking incredible.
That's a really good question there. I think there's been a few moments in battle rap like that. A lot of it is meeting the US guys, gonna be totally honest. Like, but it's also like more about what happened with them as well, rather than just, oh my god, this is this person fanboy moment. I remember, like, to talk UK a little bit before I say some of the US guys. I remember being this fucking confident that one of the first times meeting Tony D, again, I'm pushed out my mind, I grab him by the collar because I think I know him already and I've never met him in my life, like that. And I went, ain't you supposed to battle JC? And then he looked at me and went, who the fuck's this guy? And then I think we had a moment went, like, whether it's Facebook or whatever, and he just went, oh, it was shook hands, and I thought that could have went left. The way that I approached him, I'm a big guy. He's a small guy, but you look at me, I can be intimidating. I get, you know, like coming across, like I didn't even mean it. I was all love, but if someone grabbed me the way I did, I would react very differently. You know, like, but because a lot of these guys that we've seen on YouTube and seen in life, you assume that you know them. So, like, especially UK guys. So I don't have that moment often. I think maybe Shotty Horroh, maybe. But again, I'm not like stammering for words, going do. When I went, so this is, you're on about the train and whatnot. I'm from, I don't know if you can hear, I've got birds chirping outside my garden. Like, I am from like a small town in Scotland that's quite far north. It's near Aberdeen, near Dundee. It's kind of, it's northeast of Scotland, right? And so getting a train and all that down, like, I'm confident to do it because I know almost everyone in the scene, or I like when I was going, I knew the battle rappers, I knew there was someone I could see. But when it came to, I remember Briz Ross when I met, first event was Summer Madness, and that was 10, 11 years into me following the battle rap culture because I just did not have money for the train. I couldn't afford staying, like London's expensive, so 100 something quid to get like sort of a train, and then whether I actually want to get a hotel room, which can cost for 2 nights, depending on London, it's like 200 quid. I didn't even really use Airbnb until I started coming back after pandemic. If I was going to events before, I was spending a few £100. So I had to make sure it was worth going. And that's me being 20, 22, well, maybe about 22. Because the event that I'm talking about there, so I went to Summer Madness 8 in London. When I went there, and just the energy, I knew I had to be at every event, because there was like 800 people in the Steel Yard in London. Place is going crazy. Like when Tay-Rock came out on the stage, he did a gun finger. There, look, this is what happened, right? So me and a few people there that I met at the day that I've known from before kind of pallied up, because it's that tight that we're fucking hugging each other essentially because the crowd's packed. This guy's hugging his girl, and clearly a little sensitive about her speaking to other people, because he's like holding her, right? Like in front, kind of like he's about to kick her on a punt. Tay-Rock comes out, gun fingers, 200 people from the back charge to the front, and this woman gets trampled because he gets pushed forward, she falls down, and 3 rows of people are charging at the front yelling, "Hey, Rock!" And they gun. Unbelievable scenes. So going to an event like that, and being honest, look, I'm white and I'm ginger. That event, I was an anomaly. I was totally like a sore thumb, out of place, but I fucking loved it. And so going to that event, I was pretty religious and going as many events as I could there when I could go to these events. But when I met Briz Rothstein afterwards at a PG event, it was like this guy who's millions of views, you know, about to battle Young L, beat DNA, that was a real moment. Iron Solomon, another real moment. Charlie Clips, who was just at the Membars event, that was, because I don't know these guys as well as I know my UK battle rap guys, they're the ones that I'm like, oh, that's Charlie Clips. Oh, that's T-Top. Oh, that's Smack White walking towards me at the Summer Madness 8Q. Oh my God. You know, even Organic. That's where I kind of get a little more starstrucky. Not to say starstrucky in like a, you know, K-pop fan type way, but like, compose myself, don't be a dick, because I was pals with this guy once, and I won't name names, and I feel bad for this, right? I got really like World Domination 8, Ilmac, he comes up to me and goes like he just, I dap him up, I'm like, yo, I'm Cameron, a big fan and whatnot, and then I heard this afterwards. I walked away after having a bit of a chat. He went, that guy's pretty flat, right? And so, like, he was midway doing an interview, and I bombed the interview to speak to Ilmac, pissed. And they were so mad because Ilmac kind of walked with me afterwards when they were doing an interview, and the guy did not speak to me again. It was so bad. I didn't mean it. But I was pissed out of my mind. I was like, you see, like I think it was the Ilmac and Shocks battle. And I was like, you did exactly what you needed to do. And they were trying to talk to him. And as a media guy, I get that more now. Like, you kind of have to have a minute for an interview. But, you know, if you can't just roll with the punches and let things fly, and, you know, you're not going to be that good at your job. But I think, like I said, the URL guys, that was the big moments where I went starstruck. But meeting all these guys and all these personalities and having, like, phone numbers of people it's weird. After every event, I usually end up drinking with either Gemini or LSD. That's the 2 names I just get stuck with. I don't know why. Like, it's usually Gemini and whatever Brixton fucking spoons or something, or LSD has just got me going on a fucking mad journey with them. Like, it's for whatever reason. But I love that I just go, and I go solo on. I tell people are always worried for me because I go to like Brixton, I go to, you know, South End of London, I'll go all across Ireland, I'll go these places on my own. But I tell them I know people when I walk in that building, I'm good. And they're all worried about it. No, that's because I know these people, whether I've met them or I've not. Battle rap is the connecting point. I know them, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's funny that because, I got to be honest with y'all. There are guys who I talk to a little bit now. Still don't feel quite comfortable using their real names. Still got to refer to them by their stage names, which is a weird thing. Isn't it?
Always, like I've had LinkedIn for me. and I've like shout out Carlton. I'm sure he doesn't mind me saying his name's Jamil. But I would I've introduced girls that I've just approached. Oh, this is Carlton. You know, I don't even think twice about it, and then they don't even think they don't know. But like, yeah, you always. But if it's in the context, if you see them outside of battle rap, like at their job, call them by the real name. Their battle rappers are superheroes for the day. They are superheroes for the day. Give them their superhero name. Why are we trying to first name them and all that shit? Let them have that for the day. They escape their life to do this for us. Give them that praise.
This is the thing. It's the wrestling thing, really, which is why it's kind of the opposite of acting, isn't it? Actors hate it when people go up to them and go, "Oh, Wolverine." It's like, dude, it's a movie. But with wrestlers and with battlers and musicians to a degree, it's like, I think you need to know me a little better than that before you can use my real name. But I'm the dude. I don't know about you, because obviously, again, the branding of your channel is very. I get called Halcyon sometimes, and I go, you know, I've never called myself that. You know, like
I wondered that. So it's Halcyon. Is that how it? Because I was for a while when I would see your channel go on your video and whatnot, I would call it Halcyon.
So yeah, I think some people have it in their heads but it's so the word Halcyon, which is to go back to a time of peace and serenity, because I wanted to be the quirky anti-YouTuber at the time. It was like everyone's making loud reaction videos and swearing and going, "Oh my god," and jumping off their chair. I was going to be the guy that goes, "No, I'm going to do grown-up content." And that lasted about 3 episodes, and then I started doing loud bombastic shit, because it's what we're here for. But that actually raises a couple of last quick questions, but one I just want to sneak in before those ones is, what do you think's been your favorite video? What's the thing that you've made so far that you're probably proudest of?
Not that it got the most views, but I think the right people watched it. I did a somewhat deep dive, and I'm going to do a second part of it at some point, of African battle rap. So I before Slim Buck came to the UK, I was the only person barking saying Slim Buck needs to come to the UK. There's all these like Queen Mother, Jane All, Eclipse, Kid Burke. Like there's a lot of names in Africa that need more of a push in battle rap in general, because I know here, and I'm sure you'll agree with it as well. Unfortunately for us being white, the term guests of the culture, you know, it kind of rings true on us. But if we're guests of the culture, why are we not promoting the motherland? You know what I'm saying? Like, there was talks of Smack going to Africa at some point, and that fell through. I think they were to do, like, Premier Battles, they were trying to do, like, you know, the league division and whatnot, and the team that won got an international journey. They should have went to Africa. They should have had Slim Buck and Bizzle Bond, Black T versus all these names. I think that African battle rap is such an underutilized market. It needs to be watched more, and it needs someone with maybe slightly better organizational skills today, or the platform like Smack, to come over. I think they would, like, if URL goes to even Rare Breed Entertainment, I think they will get 800 to 1,000 people if they had a battle rap event in Nigeria, because there's a thirst for it. There is a real thirst for it. Ghana as well. It was as good as I could do, because I do sit here and just talk. I've only, in the last 3 months, have I got myself a tablet for any note taking. I just go and I look and go, oh, this is fair, blah, 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 blah. Like, and so that, I think, is my proudest video, because now, like, we've got Slim Buck here, who's actively in the scene, who is very much a face in UK battle rap now. And I'll be waiting for the next guys to come along soon. And I think Queen Mother is going to be on Queen of the Ring, which is, again, massive. And I think there was not many people talking about African battle rap the way I was. So it's something that I'm proud of, and I want to do again. And I mean, I'm not going to take credit for bringing Slim Buck over, but it definitely put eyes on the scene a bit that brought these guys over, for sure.
And following on from that then, what are you most excited about to do next? Like, you've mentioned the interviews. Can we say who you've just interviewed? Can we mention that?
I think, you know what? Look, like, it probably won't be out till the next week.
Okay.
So, but you know what? We'll give the Halcyon channel it. We'll give it. We'll give it. I'm the same as yourself. I just had an interview with Lunar C.
There it is. So now I get to ask you. Was yours better than mine? Go on, be honest. Was mine better? Was yours better? Was mine better? Go on, tell them.
Well,
tell them all. Tell them yours was better, because you have to. That's your only answer now. You have to tell them yours was better to get them hyped for yours. You can't say,
no. Okay, if you're a battle rap,
you have to hype it now. You're in this position. Take it. Take the win.
I will say this, right? With the interview that I've got with Lunar C, that it is a lot more about battle rap than I think. You've definitely went into the person. I think I've got who Lunar C wants to battle next. Thoughts on the Shotty Horroh battle ever happening. International battles possibly happening. Bad situations with league owners. How easy it is to get a Lunar C battle just by pissing him off. And I've got all everything battle rap related about Lunar C, and thoughts on other things. You know, where yourself, your interview is Lunar C the person. Some stuff on the battles. Like, you've got a great interview on him. I think I sort of just went, oh, what's your thought? Like, this happened. Thought on battle rap stuff. It's a good interview. I'm in the middle of it, editing it here and there, but it is a long ass interview. It's a fucking. I thought I would have been short in half an hour done. It's 2.5 hours long.
Whoa! Nice work.
So I'm actively editing like commercial breaks and time stamping to be like, okay, so you watch a bit there. Whether they watch it all in one, they can. But like, oh, here's a little bit of Lunar's music. Here's a little bit of this. Here's a little bit of that, just to make the product a little more digestible than just 2 hours talking. But yeah, like, and there was a big segment. Like, he really, just to throw this in there, he really wants to battle O Solo. Do you know who O Solo is?
Yeah.
That's the one that he wants, O Solo, because he's such a left-wing character, and he's blowing up virally now that he is focused on O Solo after Madness. Like, and right now he will want to do the Shotty Horroh battle, and I think right now, I know it's a bit of a meme, we are the closest that we'll ever get to that battle.
Oh, wow. I suppose I can ask the question of you then, because here's my take on the Lunar Shotty thing. Is it not a bit Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao-ish at this point?
We said the same thing. It's past its due date. It's like
it wouldn't be great, but its relevance and what the energy of it could have been, with the anticipation at the right moment to fucking blow. I just think that it can never live, even if it's great, even if it's brilliant.
Yeah,
I just don't see it living, because you've got a battle that's been hyped for goddamn near 10, 12 years, to the point where, like you said, it became a meme. I'll never forget Marlo using it in his 2-on-2 with I'm finding the names, but it was like, but guys, the SD card you threw away had the secret Lunar Shotty battle comment. Like, yes. It was a legit meme within the scene.
It was, but we, like, and I had to ask it specifically for the meme. It's just, we're not quite there yet. But if Lunar C just has, if he focuses on battle rap, that'll happen. If he focuses on.
How do you book that? Like, Cammy, you are head of battle rap for this event. Okay, how do we book Lunar versus Shotty? Let's do some fantasy booking for a second.
Right. So instantly, there'll have to be obviously deposits. Like, you're paying money. That's the jump out of it. There has to be deposits given to them in back ends and whatnot. But you will probably have to give them ticket revenue as well, to be like, okay, you get a percentage of tickets each, whether it has to be fair or whatnot. Do you then have to find a co-main event to match it pretty much, just so it fits in what you're trying to do? You're going to have to put a contract stipulation of promoting the battle, but then also put their music on as well, and like, whether you like, because no doubt there'll be a rupture in the scene. You have to speak to journalists locally. I don't know, ads in the newspaper or websites. Like, you might have to pay for ad space. like, because you need to get your investment back. They will bring money in, but you need to make sure it gets all the money in. So that's a tiresome job to try. And once you've got the battle, if they accept the money, you then have to get your money's worth back, and that will be so difficult. If you get Lunar C and Shotty Horroh battling, if you break even, you've won, because your wallet's gone by the end of that.
Well, spending all that money and kind of generating all that hype and all the rest of it, okay? And even if we're agreeing that it isn't what it could have been, but it still absolutely delivers in terms of what a spectacle it could be. I mean, because look, I think it's the battle always people throw out there, but they sort of throw it out there as a sort of half, well, you know, it'd be great, but who knows? It's probably not right.
Yeah.
My question is, what does it represent as this sort of does it kind of represent the closing of the arc, that sort of that end of an era, that's the final question mark of the sort of the explosion of popularity from the mid 2010s, like, or is it something else? Like, what do you think it represents if it were to happen?
So what it would represent, it'd be the end of one of their careers. So I'm not saying that in a body bag way. It'd be whether that is, and maybe more likely Lunar C to be like, because Lunar C is more focused on his fans rather than the battle rap scene, and he wants to battle people that his fans will like, i.e. O Solo because of the Uno Lavos thing, or he brought up Bill Collector as well that he really wants to battle too, because it fits what Lunar C's trying to do. Want someone that has to be a final boss battle for someone, and at least then it makes it more impactful. If it's like maybe like Lunar C leaves after this battle, that one is, it's kind of like Lux and Daylight. Like it's one of those that we think will never ever happen. When it does, then what? And literally, I wish I could tell you what happens afterwards, but the only thing I could say is that'll be someone's end game. I just don't know whose. It's like we just then, because we do better with battle rap when we're looking forward to something. Because if we lose that, I mean, even Shotty Horroh and Gemini has that same feeling. When we do get that matchup, then that's it. That's it. Then we have to try and continue the culture. If we have 2025, if we have Shotty Gemini and Shotty and Lunar C, then there goes all the big matchups. But we still always have. If we're not continually building to the next thing, then we have to start again. We need Shotty Horroh needs to fall out with Quill and make that important for 3 years before we get that same feeling back. We need Gemini needs and the Bizzle, even Gemini Bizzle Bond, that could have been something. It's great we've got it, but this could have been ongoing for so long. This could have been built up for ages.
Yeah, I feel like I'm glad we're getting it too. I feel like the guys at the top were quite keen to not play into the inherent them versus us mentality, because they were more concerned at the time with kind of promoting this camaraderie in the scene stuff, which I get from a business perspective. There's nothing wrong with being collaborative in a business. In fact, it's better if you are. But from a marketing perspective and getting the fans really invested in something, especially the ones that are maybe on the fence and or lapsed or whatever, bringing a bit, because look, and I think Luna said this in our interview, he's very much of the opinion that still a lot of the allure of battle rap is the conflict. It is the fallout. It is the drama of it all. It's great seeing great performers, but if you're, and he was equating it to saying about his music, like, it's all well and good me saying a hard bar on a track, but it doesn't compare to when I say it to a guy's face and I see him grimace because he's like, you fucking bastard. So the fact that they seem to shirk away from it, I think, and it's not like it's over. I mean, look, there's still time, and it doesn't take a lot to spark the interest. But at the moment, it does seem more like who's better, and that's it, rather than not only do I want to beat you, I want to fucking humiliate. I want to make my name off you. I want people to laugh at you as a result. Like, that sort of inherent meanness that we don't promote it about battle rap, but when it's there and you see two guys locked in and they are going after each other, there's something unmistakably competitive about that. And I think that's what makes people fall in love with the intensity and the sort of, not the melodrama, but the legitimate drama that can happen in a battle rap. You know what I mean? And Gemini and Biz kind of, it has that kindling there, but no one's ignited it yet.
You know who's got that? Literally on the same card, there's one battle that's got more of that energy than that title match, and that's Bobby Rex versus Sensa. So, as we know, Bobby Rex is he's kind of went on this whole trajectory on what he is as a battle rapper, went from jokes, kind of fell apart at a point because his struggle for identity. Has come back aggressive, mean, but kind of all-rounder. Sensa is someone who's never held back on any punches, ever. I don't know if you ever seen Sensa versus Shocks. Like, that first round is some of the most heinous angles ever in battle rap, and became such a massive deal that Sensa doesn't care and has that drama to him, and so does Bobby Rex when needed. And I think if Sensa says the wrong thing, Bobby's the performance, they'll say the same things, but the performance will go up, and that will be such an intense battle. If you look for that drama, you'll definitely find it more so on Sensa and Bobby. I think Bizzo and Gemini, it's going to be a rap fest, and it's going to be competitive because there is respect there, but it's like, oh, I'm the better champion, this, that, and the fourth, and they'll try and beat each other competitively, where you want that, oh, I'm going to say the fucked up shit. That's Sensa to a T, and Sensa has gotten a lot of trouble over the years for saying the meanest things ever. Lunar C will say funny things and bars and whatnot, but the face that goes, I'm going to swing on you at the end of this round just so that you're aware, Sensa is the man for that. It just, how he comes across, and there's not many mean characters in battle rap. And we were on about that before, about people that have to build up animosity. Like, rivalry does end at some point. I know I'm making this connection a lot with wrestling. You know, the rivalry has to end somewhere. There has to be a match. But if we make a rivalry, then it means at some point there'll be a match. And maybe we're better for anticipating the match looking forward than we are to actually have the match. You know, we could have just had Cody and Roman Reigns 39 and that's it. That's the match. No, we stopped. We developed the story. I know it wasn't great. I know it should have happened. I know it should have happened. I know it. But I think I'm
laughing off camera. That's why he's defending his stance. Because he's not wrong. We all know Vince came in 3 days before Mania and said, right, so you got Roman losing, do you? Well, about that. Like, shit.
Not yet. Like, and you know, I know he should have won, but like we anticipated that battle for another year, and look at the spectacle that we did have for doing it. We were rewarded for that, and if we were given that reward too soon, then we're looking for the next one, and it might become less genuine. We might, who knows, Visual versus Tony D. I'd be a fan to see that battle, but like maybe they'll have to fake something to have the same hype. You know, like rather that we know the enemy in front of us, then not know where our future will go afterwards. Who's the next person to look at? It's so difficult to say that it's going to be this battle done, where naturally we need to keep the scene forward. So maybe you push that back more until we do get that actual moment where don't flop, premier battles, this is it, Lunar C, Shotty Horroh, this is the moment, this is it, this is where, and in 10 years time we'll have another big moment like that. But it needs, let's not blow out the birthday candles yet, Lauren. Let's not do that yet. Let's let them burn and let's smell the fire as it goes through the icing.
All right. Well, I think we've tumbled through the wilderness of battle rap. That'll about do it. Except for one last question. Oh wait, no, I'm being usurped. What's happening? What's happening right now?
Hey, let's. I want to know your top 5.
Top 5 battlers.
Yeah, like it's such a basic question, but it's something that not enough people have an actual answer for, especially in the UK side of things.
Was it not you, or was it Battle Rap? It might have been Battle Rap Resume that tweeted out like, "Who's the Rushmore?" And I tweeted my Rushmore. I don't.
No, that's Rushmore. Rushmore is a different thing. Rushmore is like who's the innovators? T-Rex, Averb, Reed Dawes. Your top personal 5. Your 5 that you go to.
Right. Am I saying my favourites, or am I including reverence in?
Just your favourites. Like this is your top 5 guys. You had a battle rap team. My top 5 favourite versus your top 5 favourite, whatever. I just want to know your top 5 because that's not asked often enough.
So my favourite is Shuffle T, just because he's so goddamn funny, and again. I don't know how you make Shuffle T versus Shotty Horroh make sense, and then you watch it and you go, that's how, because he's so adaptable, and he's gotten so much better. Again, when you look at a battle versus, say, Unanimous, he's doing the same sorts of things, but he just sort of tapers off towards the end. Now he treats the whole thing like it's one big performance almost.
Yeah.
He's really come into his own there. Tony D, because when you look at the length and breadth of his career and how many highs he's had his moments, and I know he had a bit of a stumble against the Saurus the other day, but the fact is the the overall performance was fantastic. And then you go to, like you said, that for me, the return of UK battle rap after the pandemic was Bizzo versus Tony, because that battle had an energy to it, and there was so much joy in that room, because it was they were going after each other, but everyone was so happy that they were, that it had this really jubilant feel to it. You know what I mean? They were just happy that Bizzo came in with round 1, fucking brilliant, but then Tony flips it and then goes into his round. It's like, oh guys, we got a battle here. We got a battle here.
Like you know what? Okay, this sounds a little petty, right? That's the first battle event I went to after the pandemic. So I'm also inadvertently saying, and I'm right behind Bizzle Bond. There's comments about how much of a dickhead I am. I've got the American shirt. You'll see me right behind Bizzle Bond. I get tucked in by Tech, and the big spin after the pronouns bar. I am right in the middle of that. Go, what the fuck is going on here? And I somewhat inadvertently say that I brought back UKBR rap. It's a funny headline. It's not funny, obviously. But like in that moment, that energy in that crowd, and when it came out, all of a sudden everyone wanted to be involved in the crowd. We wanted to replicate that, and we were better for chasing it. And now the level of consistency in our battles are so much better. But I just want to add that in. Right, who else is in your top 5?
So who have I got so far? Shuffle, Tony D.
Right.
Look, you can't leave Shotty Horroh off. I know I've got my differences with him right now, but as far as a performer is, there's such a controlled viscerality to his performances. He has a danger to him. You know what I mean? It's the credibility of all of what he's done, mixed with a understanding of his craft that makes him so difficult. I mean, Shuffle came as close as anyone has ever given Shotty to a, do you know what, I'm not sure, but even if you really pressed him,
God's bled that day. Like,
it was a hard. That's probably the first one that you could say, do you know what, guys, I think that might be a draw. Like, that's genuine.
In that building, you were there, and as you're saying, you're in that building. The crowd had thought Shuffle 1-3-0. I'm sure most of us walked away, and then in the bar afterwards, when we got notifications on who won the battles, Shotty Horroh won. Huh? You have to watch it back to then go, this is actually pretty close. But in that building, it felt like Mount Olympus. Like, I know Shuffle T has that bar about it, but it really felt this man is destroying the god of battle rap in front of us.
Shuffle T has the ability to crease people. I think that gives him that. So I think, when you are holding your stomach laughing, that tends to linger with you longer than the hardest stuff. And Shotty had some bars in that when you watch it back, you're like, ooh, okay. And then he's quick to move on. Like, he's not the guy to linger. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like you say, upon a rewatch, it changes that you're able to analyze it a bit more structurally and say, right, actually that was super complex and a bit more dynamic than I gave it credit for in the moment. And obviously you've got, when you're there, you've got, I mean, fuck me, there was a guy in front of me who was about 2.5 feet taller than me. So the whole night, the whole afternoon, I'm doing this. And then he moves.
Shout out lazy. That's probably lazy. Shout out lazy.
Do you know what? I recognise lazy. Now, this guy had a grey everything, just head to toe in grey. Okay. I have no idea who the guy was. In fact, again, the reason I know it wasn't anyone I recognised, because the only one I recognised was Kruger, who was literally next to me for about half an hour before I realised he was there. And I went, I really liked your work on the Advanced Rhyming Dictionary. And he went, that wasn't me. And he walked across the opposite side of the room. So on the interview, I had to go, you motherfucker. Here, your name's in the book. And he went, is it? Like, yes, it's right here. Oh, well, live and you learn. So, there you go. That's Kruger.
So, it's not me. It walked away. God.
He didn't walk away, but he was like, clearly like, this guy is a little mental. I would rather not be within touching distance of this man. Yeah. And he was right. You are right to not be in my touch. If all of you when I'm at an event could give me a space of no less than an arm's width, that'd be great.
Yeah, so if anyone goes to a battle rap event to try and see Lorne and he's in the middle of the circle spinning because he wants his space, you know exactly who it is. Just watch you don't get cut by them blades.
That's me right there. just know that I need my personal space because I'm a very important person in the scene now. Very important.
Exactly.
But then if I rattle it off, so look, Shotty has to be in the conversation. And then the last two, it gets a little tricky because I think when you start getting into 4 or 5, you kind of, it is personal preference more often than not, you know what I mean? And 4 and 5
doesn't have to be UK. Like, I should preface that. Maybe you want to do UK 5 or if there's anyone else, or if you're happy with them 3, just...
They're the ones who I have the most exposure to, so I feel like I can opine on them more. I mean, Soul for me, like, Soul is the one that I've slept on for the most of, like, when I was a teenager, I didn't give him the credit he deserved. And then as I've grown up and you realise, when he was on my show and he was explaining to me how he does what he does, and you go, how the fuck do you know how to do that? And he does it in this way that he says, it's like, well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? And you go, no, that's not obvious at all. I don't know how you do that. It's great. Like, he is so intelligent in how he writes and makes it so that he could so easily fall into the trap of being too clever. That could have happened with Soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, Soul became, like, to his credit, we all know he's very complex, but he was then known, similar to other guys, for saying the thing. But he'll go complex, then just says the thing. Like, what was this? I remember the thing gets rapped. There was a tone for a tone for these atrocities. Your whole demeanor bothers me. A hoe, a leech, a monster. He, a joke, a fiend, a mockety, a hopeless mediocrity with no redeeming qualities. And that's him just saying, "I don't like you." That's all he said. He just said that, but he said the thing in a fancy way, and that's all Soul had to do. And the way, just how he gets the message across makes Soul probably like one of the best. Now, I don't know if you've seen the top 50 list, like that fucking blew up. And me and Tom did a battle rap top 50 in the UK, and we knew damn well that was going to cause some trouble, and it did. We got a lot of stick for that. But, you know, Soul was Tom's number 1 and Soul was my number 2 just because, no, maybe Soul was number 3, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, because of how good he is and just how there was just a moment he cultivated the whole scene. Everyone was trying to be like Soul. So, and again, I was the same that slept on him, but that was when this was before Caustic punched Soul in the face. This was before that, and as soon as he came back as this new man. He was incredible. So let's break that down at least. You've got Shuffle T, Tony D, Shotty Horroh, Soul. Who's your 5th guy?
I'm developing more of an appreciation for him now. At the time, I didn't give him much credit. O'Shea. Again, he's a guy who you go through the history of battle rap, and he sneaks in more. I mean, I think you have to look at his Tony D battle as his crowning achievement in terms of that's when I think he really hit his stride. But then, so like against Lunar, for instance, I don't think that was necessarily his best showing because I think after Lunar's first, he kind of kind of, reined in on himself a little bit and never really recovered. And then obviously Lunar then goes in on Flossie, and it becomes a bit. He's then very well and truly got the crowd on his side, and it becomes a bit quiet. You know what I mean? But just the sheer length and longevity, and the fact that he's just such a different animal to everyone else. Like when you see him, you don't know if he is not just making it up as he's going along, and it's hard not to see some merit in that, because it's the genuine factor. It's, do you know what? I'm pretty sure he'd be doing this in a pub by himself anyway. He just happens to have gotten a crowd, and they're all just vibing with him. You know what I mean?
O'Shea became almost so defenseless, because you couldn't defend him on the actions that he was doing, that he became immune to your attacks. So like you couldn't defend him for getting too pish arse drunk and doing something like holding a crack rock on a TV screen, but then you couldn't diss him on that because we know what he's like. Therefore, it's just an O'Shea thing, and it's not going to land. Like he almost had like a double negative in what you would call defense in battle rap, that you can't insult O'Shea really. I think the only person in recent memory to do that good a job was Briggsy, about setting up him going to be the champion, and then he got too drunk and Matter won because O'Shea was a bit sloppy. But you can't insult him for anything, because he self-degrades himself to the point that he'll do a better job at that anyway. Like he really was an innovator in the UK scene for that defense and how you react to something. Just fucking, I don't care. Whatever.
That's best typified against Uno Lavos. Like Uno came into that battle with so much like, man, you're not ready for this, and yet O'Shea, I would argue, just completely nullified it. He just shoulder rolled through the whole thing almost. Do you know what I mean?
I would just spend this next 20 seconds staring at this apple.
Yep. And the fucking crowd erupted. And then he, like, I literally can't get any lower, sits and lies face ground, and everyone's like, yeah, I buy it. Yeah. Like,
you just like indefensible, but in like not like immune to everything that you're saying to him. I wish O'Shea would get a bit more of a shit together. It sounds harsh. Just, O'Shea is such a powerhouse in the scene. In the last two battles, I think the Solkan and the Sean Cray stuff, just that was, considering it was a year gap between both of them, it's just a shame. But I do agree with you. I think like O'Shea is just a great, and his legacy is stamped to this day. It'd be good that he leaves on a high horse, and like this is the crowning moment. Maybe he gets his prize fight. I don't even know who he'd want, but someone to then say, I'm away now, guys. I'm officially out. It's a sad case though, but that's a decent top five though. Like that you've got. I say it's decent. It's a good top five, absolutely, and it's pretty much all the best of the UK. So I can't be sitting there and I'm mad at you.
It's a bit cheap because I've not really put anyone forward that you can't. It's the, well, who's your top five players? Ronaldo, Messi, Pele, Maradona. It's a bit, well, fucking duh. But at the same time, battle raps, look, they're in the positions they're in for a reason. I would argue that it's not. It's really hard in battle rap for you to carry a reputation through. Even one bad performance can really tank a career. And when you've got a body of work that you can hold up against anyone else and say, no, this is greatness, I think it warrants that shout. I mean, look, and you can rattle off. There's a ton of guys who I love and I enjoy watching. But if I'm whittling it down to saying, right, you're on a desert island, these are the only guys' catalogs you can watch. I think you've got a good mix of there, because I think Shuffle takes care of a lot of the comedy and a lot of the concept stuff. Soul is a pure one, and Tony D brings in some of that sort of pre-battle rap era stuff, the Poisonous Poets, that pure rap, and then you've got sort of just a really good mesh of styles and sort of histories and legacies in there, and obviously, they've all had their moments, but at the same time, largely speaking, you're looking at the pantheon of the sort of the UK greats, really.
Absolutely, and at least the names that you brought there, it covers all bases. It does. It's a great example there, as you said, just the desert island. It covers everything that you would ever want in a battle rap culture, and everyone that they've battled, it's a little bit of everything. So I do respect that. I just wondered if there was some sort of like Hail Mary going, Pedro's top 5, and because you get some people that just panic when that question's asked, and then they go, I love Danny Jack. I love like.
I mean, while okay, so irrespective of position, then who would be your wild card? Who'd be someone you would throw in there just on the off chance that they put in a performance against your top 5 that would warrant a position?
Again, I've said it on this interview already. Fuck Maverick, but I would have Maverick's not on top 5, but I know that he'll just pull something out of the hat, and he'll win. So again, to talk a little bit about him again. At this event at members only, Gemini versus T-Top. In the middle of the battle, T-Top calls out Maverick, and Maverick's just done one battle back after 3 years. And I don't know if it's in line, but T-Top's in real conversations with that league. That could be happening. And so, whatever fucking ground that he touches just seems to work. And I could, if I my personal top 5 is I love Soul, a Twerk, New Jersey Twerk, fucking Jay the Nightwing. I do love Mad Flex and Emerson Kennedy. For these, but I could see a Maverick coming up in that top 5 going, I could probably beat some of them, and it'll really annoy me because they're my favorites. But he could beat them, and it'll fuck them off more than anything else. But I think the thing for even my top 5 is they're not the best of the best, but I just like their styles. I like what they do. If you haven't seen Jay the Nightwing versus Mad Flex, that's damn near classic. Damn near classic, and it's just 2 different styles that are just so perfect. It's unbelievable.
Well, the 2 that I need to brush up on, because I have seen them, but I have not had enough exposure to kind of. Although I bow to the superior wisdom of people, Pat Stay and Bender, and because Soul always told me relentlessly he's the best, and
Bender is Pat Stay. Also, again, Pat Stay is the overall probably had been the overall best battle rapper for so many years, and it's a shame that it took his death for a lot of other people to really realize that. Bender was so ahead of his time. Even his last battle, Frank, if you ever get a chance to speak to Frankie Frazier's biggest idol was Bender. In the way that how Bender was Soul before Soul. Bender was doing all the multisyllabics before anyone. And there was a point in it's in the freestyle era, even when Thesaurus was involved and whatnot, 2005, 2006. You're like Dave Chappelle if he was gay as hell, and then the next logical layer is succinct schemes about a name. If you haven't, there's a classic one about. I don't even want to spoil it because I should send you the battle for you to watch it and appreciate it. But there's a whole Dr. Robert Oppenheimer scream. A whole scheme, and everything rhymes with Dr. Robert Oppenheimer to the syllable, and it's all about him. And I actually don't want to spoil it because I think that would be good content for you to react to. It's so amazing, and the punchlines of Bender was so ahead of their time. You'll sit there and you'll watch a Bender battle and you realize this is 2010 that he's doing this. Where you'd see that in 2016. He's doing way ahead. He was so ahead of his time and such a amazing artist. And obviously Pat Stay is such a great performer. I tell you what, as a battle rap, as the knowledge or whatever for so many years, I will send you a Bender battle and 2 Bender battles and 2 Pat Stay battles. And that could be some of your, I think you're on about possibly watching battles and whatnot. That would be some of the stuff that you just look over and just appreciate what is going on there, because they are they unfortunately we lose the best ones first. We always lose the best guys. So and them 2 were really some of the best that we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the reactionary stuff is something that I would If no other reason than because obviously you notice certain things when you rewatch battles, even if it's just silly things like certain expressions certain people make in the background at certain moments that really sell the scene. But like for those two in particular, I know that they're guys that have a certain reverence about them, and I still don't understand quite why, and I want to. So it's that thing of not educated, educated. It makes it sound like it's homework, but this idea of understanding why so many of the guys in the scene that I look up to them, and having a deeper appreciation of that legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the UK scene definitely hails Bender beyond anyone else. Like Bender was one of them, so you'll enjoy Bender so much. You enjoy Soul, you'll enjoy Bender. Unfortunately, Bender and Soul did battle. It was fine, weird energy in the crowd, and I would have been good to have a rematch for that. But like we always held Bender so high because at a point where Soul was at his peak, like we would appreciate what Bender was doing as well, because we were, as a lot of fans, and I would even say the 2016, 2017 crop of fans, when they were listening to Soul destroy Raptor and using all these syllables and multis and whatnot, we would then see Bender doing the same thing, doing the same style and reacting to that in the same way. So what Soul was giving us when Soul wasn't battling, Bender was giving us the exact same thing, and that's where the hunger for Bender became really strong, that we wanted more from him. And for Pat, just innovator of all styles, the coolest man in the world. Like, there's nothing else to be said. Like, you will enjoy Pat as well. As their story, I know you mentioned them too because they've passed away. It's probably quite good to go back because their story has ended. That sounds morbid, but there is a definitive full stop. It's like a DVD set in battle rap that there is an ending to it. And URL just released the last Patch Day battle, so there actively is an ending to it where you can binge watch all of these battles to this point, and it's a double-edged sword. That can be good and a bad thing. Obviously it's bad because he's not here, but it's good because there's the Pat Stay collection, the Bender collection. You will enjoy it. I'll definitely send a few that are like the best performances in my opinion.
Well, that's my homework. But now I need you all to take note, because the final question is, of course, we got to stay on brand. We got to algorithm and like, share, and subscribe. The big question: where can people find you?
Cool?
Where can people find you? Where can they find you? Where can they follow your work? Where can they buy your merch? Where can they line up in their thousands of millions to get your autograph? Where? Tell us where.
Okay, the only thing I seem to be signing is just my fucking death certificate. Honestly, only things I'm really on and battle rap stuff is on X and it's on the YouTube at CammyGBR. I've got all ladies. If you give me 5 minutes, I will be right back to you. They're getting a bit loud, so I just need them to shut the fuck up. Yeah. At the end of the night, but no, it's CammyGBR on X, on YouTube. I've not got no merch or anything yet. Don't make me do merch because I'll be depressed when no one buys it. But it's been a pleasure being on here, my man. And I've been wanting to go on for a little while, but just how do you approach this sort of thing, and seeing how you do your interviews, really deep dive into person. And here I am. God, I had a YouTube Premium subscription since 2017. I didn't even know that.
Well, I bow to your superior wisdom. I look forward to seeing how you develop and also kind of making you more of a mainstay of my content. And I also look forward to our inevitable Twitter feud that will invariably lead to some sort of collaboration or clash. I am going to be demanding a 55-45 split of any revenues of any boxing match that we enter. It's just the way it goes. Are we going to have to argue over who's going to be the A side and the B side now?
Two different weight classes, honestly. I
carry 80% of my body weight below the shoulder, my friend. You've got nothing. You got nothing on me. I promise you.
I don't know, Chief. I sometimes notice my belly first before I notice people wherever I am in the battle.
God bless you. God bless you. But it's been dude. This was a much more. I had to be on my toes for this one. So you presented more of a challenge than I was really expecting. So, dude, likewise, I hope I can see myself on your channel one of these days.
Well, you know what? I'm not doing interviews often, so like if I do,
Oh, whoa! I never said I would be interviewed. Hang the fuck on! I never said I'd answer any questions, Your Honor. My client here is reserving his right to silence. Okay, I would make a terrible guest. My name's Lorne. That's the most interesting thing about me.
Have to be, we could just discuss things and whatnot, but I don't think I'm going to be at checkpoint. It's just timing and whatnot. But I am trying to get to Apex, so I will catch you there, mate. If you're going to it, I will see you. We'll get a picture, because that's the thing in battle rap. We need more pictures. We need more memories. We need more of that, because if we don't have that, then it's just mystery people we see once every 3 months. So we'll definitely grab me, and then I'd wonder if Tom's going to be there. I'm going to ask him. We'll get a bit. I'll introduce you to Tom, because Tom's a madman. I love him, but he's a madman.